All right, joining us to discuss this is constitutional legal attorney Ameer Benno. Ameer, welcome to the show. Glad to have you.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
All right, well, that video went viral, and many people are not taking Sterling's explanation, obviously speaking for Raffensperger's office, Secretary of State there in Georgia, as feeling like it really is sufficient. Do you feel like that is a sufficient explanation?
Well, I think it's the type of response that warrants a further inquiry and into an investigation. I mean, one has to question how come we as the American people underwent 2.5 years of an investigation by special counsel into Russian collusion for which there was no evidence. But then here, where we do have the potential of evidence, we have video footage showing what looks to be untoward activity. We have a complete media blackout, and we have no investigation taking place.
Ameer, I want to continue down this road for a second, but I'm being told that we literally have breaking news happening as we're on air right now. A federal judge has restored DACA and has allowed first-time applicants to come back into the process. What do you think this means for the president's policies right now for President Trump? Do you think he's going to try to appeal this, or how do you think the administration is going to respond? And I know I'm putting you on the spot, so I apologize.
No, that's fine. Look, I think he's going to pursue his legal avenues. This is the problem that exists currently, in which President Trump has done, I think, a great job of trying to spotlight throughout his term, which is you have these singular district judges throughout the country that have the ability to either put a national injunction in place or to create law for the entire country. I think that it's ridiculous that any one federal judge has that kind of power to do that. I haven't seen the decision, obviously, but I would expect that it would go up to the Circuit Court of Appeals and then up to the United States Supreme Court. I mean, they heard challenges to the DACA, to that executive order and to the rescission of it back last term. And so I don't think this is a settled thing at this point. Of course, I haven't read the decision.
Fair enough. Right. Sorry about that.
We appreciate you weighing in on it. Back to Georgia, these developments that we're seeing today, and Brad Raffensperger's office saying that video that we showed you, wasn't fraud. Because of that, the Fulton County actually recertified the election and said no fraud here. And now Trump campaign has filed a lawsuit to overturn the results, asking to the court to prevent the certification of the election there. But do you feel like the campaign actually still has a case in the state? Because it seems like Raffensperger just wants to keep recertifying things there.
Well, it's certainly what the Secretary of State in Georgia is doing is extremely frustrating. And Brian Kemp, the governor, certainly hasn't taken the steps that is necessary to commence an investigation. But I think President Trump definitely has an angle here, and it's not settled by a long shot. There's something called the Electoral Count of Act of 1876, and that act leaves it up to Congress. If we have competing slates of electors that go down to Congress, it leaves it up to the Congress to decide among themselves which slate to approve, and if they can't, then it will go to the governor. Keep in mind, we hopefully will have a divided Congress come January 6th. We are going to have hopefully the Senate. That's why Georgia is so important. Even though the Democrats still have the House, many of these states these swing states have Republican governors. So I still think that in terms of the political strategy of the Trump campaign, there is definitely room for movement. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that we're going to have a president-elect Biden, and I wouldn't give up hope.
Ameer, you were talking and my brain started going like this because I started to think about the dates that you were calling out. So the Georgia election is January 5th. The Congress adjourns to count those electoral votes on January 6th. In my mind, I think it's crucial that there be a big win in that Georgia race so that Mitch McConnell can make a case to actually seat and swear in those two senators right away. Don't you agree? And I apologize, but I don't have but you agree with the premise on this?
Completely agree with the premise. So on January 6th, that's when Congress has to make the decision and approve the Electoral College.
So that means if you live in Georgia, understand how important a decisive victory is. Ameer, I appreciate you weighing in on us. Thanks for going with the flow on the breaking news, and have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.
All right,
All right.
you bet.
Well, if you want to learn more about stories like this and the Georgia election, you can go to the Newsmax website or, of course,